Right now at 5, the mayor of Carl Junction hosted a council meeting despite the council's vote to suspend him.
And we've got a sunny and hot day ahead of us. You may see some lightning to the south, nothing we need to worry about. We got to look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, a historic Pittsburgh building gets a new life thanks to some gorillas.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Elise Noe.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday and it is June the 19th. Boy, we had a busy day to start yesterday.
Certainly did.
We've changed considerably. Had a few pop-up storms yesterday evening as well. Thankfully, nothing too crazy. Now it's time for the crazy side of summer where it starts to heat up because tomorrow is the first day of summer.
How about that?
I know.
It feels like it already.
It's certainly going to feel like it, and it's going to continue to do so as we head into the weekend. Let's take a look outside, though. Downtown Pittsburgh. Again, off to the south, you may occasionally see some lightning flashes. There are some thunderstorms well to our south, but our skies are pretty clear overhead. And these are decent thunderstorms, not severe, but the cloud tops reach up high enough that every so often we spotted some lightning off on the horizon there. But again, nothing coming our way, nothing we need to worry about. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good this morning as well. We do have some fog, though, mainly on the Kansas side and into Oklahoma, but we do have reduced visibilities. Anderson, Joplin, Carthage, they're not significantly reduced, but we're down to half a mile into Pittsburgh, so that's parts of southern Crawford County, northern Cherokee. We've got reduced visibilities back through Labette, Montgomery, Newata, Washington, southern Craig, and into Delaware County as well, of course, around the Grand Lake areas, so do keep that in mind. You guys know the drill, low beams, not your high beams, fog lights if you've got them. Future track, there is nothing to show you other than some wind. And even then, it's going to be light and variable today. That's it. Nothing out there, but it is going to get hot. 67 in Joplin right now, 66 in Pittsburgh. And temperatures around the region look like this, mid-upper 60s and 70 down in Bentonville and Veneta right now. And as I mentioned, tomorrow, first day of summer, starts at 9. That's not accurate. I think it's 9:42. Tomorrow evening in our time, and it'll be into the low 90s and be a bit breezy. Calm winds, though, for us today. Mostly clear skies, going clear later, heading into the upper 80s, maybe a couple of low 90s out there. The heat is on heading into the weekend, though. We'll take a look at your full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, if you visit downtown Pittsburgh, you'll see construction underway at the site of the historic Bessie Hotel. Now, in recent years, the building has become run down, but construction crews, including interns from Pittsburgh State University, are working to give the landmark new life. KOAM's Samantha Walker gives us a look inside the Bessie Hotel and shares details on its future.
The Best Hotel is a historic Pittsburgh landmark, but if you were to walk through it right now, you need to be wearing one of these.
Right now we're standing in the southeast corner of the Best Hotel, building that's almost 100 years old. From what we've seen, this building wasn't probably 10 to 15 years from having some major structural issues before we started rehabbing it.
For the past 2 months, crews with Crossland Construction have been working at repairing the Best Hotel. It's part of the Gorilla Rising project by Pittsburgh State University. Floors 2 through 13 at the Best will be turned into student housing, with 57 apartments and 62 beds. The lower level will offer a commercial space as well as the PSU Center for Reading and the Kansas Small Business Development Center.
We're framing walls for the apartments on 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just a little bit happening on 6th. We're roughing in electric, plumbing, getting all the utilities into the spaces.
And working alongside the Crossland crew are PSU construction interns. As a former PSU Crossland intern himself, Dylan Halterman knows the importance of getting hands-on experience.
This job, you're getting exposed to a little bit of everything, and I think that's beneficial not only to me in growing in my career, but interns as well as they grow and become field engineers and project engineers.
And as Halterman helps guide new interns, he takes pride that at the same time, he gets to work on such a historic building.
When we just started this job, I got to be on it, and it's been a real honor to be on this and do something for Pittsburgh that they've done for me for 4 years. It's nice to just give a little something back.
And for PSU interns working on the project, it's a full circle moment, knowing their work will help students just like them.
I've told all my friends, there's like, hey, we're turning into student housing. And they're like, well, what's it called? I'll just say Guerrilla Rising. And they'll be like, oh, I'll have to move in there one day. So I'd talk it up a lot to all my friends.
And it'll be a lasting reminder of their hard work.
This is the first building you see whenever you walk or whenever you drive into Pittsburgh. And it's going to be really cool being able to drive through it in the future and being able to point at the biggest building in Pittsburgh saying, hey, I helped remodel that to my kids.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
Construction at the hotel is expected to be completed by August 2026. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. One juvenile is dead and authorities are still searching for another after a train pedestrian accident yesterday afternoon in Neosho County, Kansas. It happened at the Trestle Railroad Bridge over the Neosho River south of Erie, Kansas. Sheriff Greg Taylor says 2 juveniles were walking along the bridge when they were hit by a train. Authorities have recovered 1 body, and at last report, they were still searching for the second juvenile. State officials have been helping with a ground and air search. The sheriff says the Neosho River is high, making conditions harder to deal with. He asked the public steer clear of the area. The sheriff says the families have been notified and law officers' hearts go out to them. Well, in a turn of events, Carl Junction Mayor Mike Moss was back in the chair at Tuesday night's City Council meeting, just days after the council voted to suspend him. The discussion to suspend Mayor Moss started during the May 20th City Council meeting. Council member James Shanks had filed a complaint alleging Mayor Moss made inappropriate comments about female city employees. The council unanimously agreed to hire Lauber Municipal Law to investigate the complaint. During the June 3rd meeting, council members voted 6-2 to suspend the mayor. However, 2 days later, Moss was back at work in the mayor's office. City Administrator Steve Lauber confirmed the motion to suspend Moss was unlawful under city code. Both the city attorney and outside legal counsel supported Lauber's decision. And now you can stay up to date with the latest news, weather, and sports with the KOAM Plus TV streaming app. It's available on Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, Apple TV Plus, and Roku. The player is also available on our news and weather apps as well as our website. Watch live streaming anytime, absolutely free. The KOAM Plus TV streaming app. Well, community members of all ages gathered in Carthage, Missouri yesterday to celebrate Precious Moments Chapel Day. KOAM's Olivia Moss dives into what made the celebration so special.
You want to know what it means or what it's about, you just let me know and I'll tell you, okay?
For the Precious Moments Chapel in Carthage, Missouri, June 18th is not just another day.
Thank you guys for coming.
It's a day to celebrate the anniversary of the chapel's opening and dedication in 1989.
It's a very exciting day to be able to just continue that and enjoy everyone coming out and still knowing after 36 years that we're here and people are able to enjoy us.
The celebration was full of activities, including face painting, a passport adventure scavenger hunt, and something new.
In between the tours that we normally do to explain about the chapel, we're going to do a story time where we're going to read some Precious Moments storybooks that were written by Mr. Butcher to the children that come to visit, because we always like to do special things for them.
Precious Moments Chapel Day was officially recognized by the governor of Missouri in 2009. For 36 years, they have been welcoming people of all ages to enjoy everything, from the chapel to the figures.
It's really great that it's still here in the community, that they're having more and more events every year. It's nice to see it pick up again and have the people come out, and it's pretty cool to live by something so special.
Precious moments really means those special times of your life that you just want to hold on to and capture. And that's what Mr. Butcher wanted. He wanted to capture those moments of love and caring and sharing in our lives that we never want to forget, but we will always want to hold on to.
Those moments captured today. Reporting in Carthage, I'm Olivia Moss, KOAM News.
Well, thank you guys.
Precious Moments holds several events throughout the year, including their family reunion event starting October 8th. Now, for a complete schedule of events, you can visit our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. And that's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes coming up on the KOAM Morning News. Iran's supreme leader issues a statement after President Trump calls for Iran's unconditional surrender. We'll have the latest. Plus, your outlook on life may have an impact on your memory. We'll take a look. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your Thursday forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. In World Watch, the conflict between Israel and Iran enters its 6th day as President Trump calls for Iran's unconditional surrender, something that country's supreme leader rejected in a new address to his nation. As Natalie Brand reports, it comes as the Trump administration is weighing whether to get involved.
Israel's military says it struck around 20 targets in Tehran overnight, prompting thousands to flee. In Israel, sirens blared as missiles were intercepted over the skies of the port city of Haifa.
We cannot let Iran get a nuclear weapon. I've been saying it for a long time.
President Trump took questions Wednesday morning with new flagpoles going up at the White House. Sources tell CBS News he's considering joining Israel in striking Iran's nuclear facilities, which could include Fordo, buried deep in a mountain.
I may do it, I may not do it. I mean, nobody knows what I'm going to do. I can tell you this, that Iran's got a lot of trouble.
Sources tell CBS News there's not agreement among the president's closest advisors about next steps. Today, the president was also asked about his social media post calling for unconditional surrender by Iran's supreme leader.
Unconditional surrender. That means I've had it. Okay, I've had it. I give up. No more.
In a recorded video, the Ayatollah said any military involvement by the U.S. would cause, quote, irreparable damage.
The Iranian regime has been devastated.
H.R. McMaster served as a national security advisor during the first administration.
The effects that Israel's had, I mean, of course, we've been talking about the effects on the nuclear program, on the missile program, but I think they've killed something like 15 or so, nuclear scientists and decapitated the Islamic Revolutionary Guards Corps.
CBS News has learned Israel did not request that the U.S. join its effort militarily, leaving that choice to President Trump. Natalie Brand, CBS News, the White House.
In a social media post yesterday, U.S. Ambassador to Israel wrote that the U.S. is arranging flights and cruise ship departures to evacuate American citizens from Israel. Well, still to come, we'll see how your living conditions can play a role in your recovery from a stroke. Plus, Chris returns with another look at your forecast. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. We'll be right back. Well, a wild animal's big day out is briefly interrupted by a close encounter with the family pet. Patrick Cornell has that story, and take a look at this.
Take a look at this scary snout-to-snout standoff inside a California home. A black bear barged into the house only to be met by a 17-year-old dog named Doodle. No worries, Doodle escaped the scare unharmed. Undaunted by Doodle's fearsome fangs, the bear continued to raid the kitchen, and this wasn't the bear's first foray that day, breaking into another neighbor's home through a window to steal some snacks.
I had opened up the freezer, ruined a perfectly good gluten-free pizza, and really chowed down on the pancetta and bacon.
Then, working off those calories by taking a dip in a nearby pool. Buddy's having a very big day. Reportedly, the bear hung around the neighborhood for hours before finally being run off. In the things that shouldn't be here category,
I would bring your dog inside. There's an alligator over here.
No, not a small alligator. Someone spotted this behemoth outside their motel room in Fairfax, Virginia, and called the cops. An investigator arrived to find this 6-foot-long, scaly surprise loitering around. Reportedly, the reptile was traveling from New York to a zoo in North Carolina, but the overnight motel slumber party is apparently a big ol' no-go for gators, so police quickly helped escort the animal and its owner out of the county. And if a gator creeping around your door doesn't give you nightmares, try this terrifying tarantula instead. Don't worry, we'll rewind and pause it so you can partake in this horrifying image. The alarming arachnid was seen on camera in the middle of the night crawling around outside a home in Austin, Texas. A picture-perfect way to scare the daylights out of any homeowner. Good luck sleeping after that notification pops up on your phone. For take a look at this. Yikes! I'm Patrick Cornell.
That is far too many unwanted guests for me. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, we're dealing with some patchy fog out there. Some of it's kind of dense, so we're going to talk about that. We're also going to talk about the heat that's on the way when we come back. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:22 on this Thursday morning. Start with a quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Things looking pretty good. Now, Pittsburgh reporting reduced visibilities, but as you can see, this is where we get in that patchy fog situation because downtown looks pretty good. MoDOT camera 20th and Rangeline in Joplin looking pretty good as well this morning. Temperatures is what we're going to focus on because at least over the next several days, don't really have anything in terms of clouds or rain or anything else along those lines. So we're talking about the heat, and it's going to be on. Today, it's going to start to get hot, and it's going to get hotter into the weekend. By noon, already the low 80s out there, and by this evening, we're going to start to get into the upper 80s, and a couple of 90-degree readings not out of the question. One thing I do want to just remind everyone of is that first day of summer is tomorrow. We're settling into that time of year where our peak heating comes later in the day instead of earlier in the day like we get in spring and winter. So that's why highs will be starting to peak a little later. Overnight tonight, skies remain clear and we'll fall back into the upper 60s, some low 70s out there. So another fairly mild evening ahead of us. And of course, the warmer we are overnight, the warmer we can get during the daytime. Friday kicks off the first of several days where we're going to see a lot more temperatures climbing into the low 90s for those highs. And that will continue into the weekend as well. Excuse me, I'm fine all during the commercial break, and then I come back and all of a sudden my throat shuts down. Upper 70s still by 5 o'clock in the morning Saturday. Saturday is our day of peak heating, at least over the next few days, where we're looking at the greatest heat concerns at this point. Already low 80s by noon, and many of us climbing into the low 90s for highs, but the concern becomes the increasing humidity and dew point levels. That's going to lead to increased heat index values. So today, our heat risk is minor. It's going to be hot out there. It's going to certainly feel hot, but overall the heat risk is minor. But as we go into Friday, we start to see that moderate start showing up across the region. And by Saturday, kind of reach that peak for a little bit where we see a major heat risk as most of us are looking at heat index values of at least 105. We go into Sunday, still not great, but a slight improvement. By next Monday, slight improvements as well. Same into Tuesday as heat index values start to drop a little bit. But Saturday, again, reaching this point where we get to heat-related illnesses becoming possible as those heat indexes climb, starting again tomorrow as they get to 100 to 105, Saturday about 105. So again, stay hydrated, make sure you're taking precautions, staying cool outside, getting inside as needed over the next several days. Just a few clouds out there, about 70 to start, 81 by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, highs, most of us, upper 80s. Winds will be calm, just a few passing clouds, and some low 90s here and there, not out of the question. Skies clear out through the evening and overnight, and we'll be back, most of us, in the low 70s with a south breeze at 5 to 10. The other side of tomorrow, south winds pick up a bit, start gusting upwards of 25, but that's where we get into that you just open the oven after baking a pizza kind of wind, not a refreshing wind by any means. Low 90s continue, upper 80s into next week, and again, we start getting into this time of year too where the heating of the day could spawn a stray storm or two, so just keep an eye out. Remember, when thunder roars, head indoors. Let's check your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Elise now with Health Watch.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, where you live could impact your recovery after a stroke, according to new research from the University of Illinois, Chicago. And the study found having poor access to food or living in a low-income neighborhood led to stroke patients experiencing a worse recovery. Even how strong patient support network or a family and friends played a role in recovery, but the study did not find those factors impacted stroke survival rates. Well, do intermittent fasting diets work? An analysis published by the British Medical Journal showed the method can be just as effective as diets that cut calories when it comes to weight loss. In intermittent fasting, people avoid eating for periods ranging from 16 hours to 2 days. The study also found alternate day fasting was more effective than other types of intermittent fasting. And having a positive life outlook could protect you from memory loss. A study published in the journal Aging and Mental Health that looked at thousands of people over 50 for 16 years and found people who said they had higher levels of psychological well-being had better scores on memory tests. Now, the study's authors say the reasons aren't clear, but it's known that depression and anxiety can impact the brain health. And that's a look at some of today's top health stories. We'll be right back. Right now at 5:30, an Arkansas inmate who eluded authorities for almost 2 weeks enters his plea.
And we've got some fog for some of us, otherwise sunny skies, temperatures heating up. A look at your forecast coming up.
Plus, Lamar residents gather together to dedicate a basketball court to a longtime supporter.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5:30. I'm Elise Snowy.
I'm Chris Warner. It is now Thursday, getting closer to Friday, and Friday also the first day of summer. The longest day of the year happens tomorrow, and it's going to be one of our hottest ones yet. But not quite there yet. We got to still get through Thursday, and Thursday's definitely going to start to feel like summer as we get more sunshine out there. Quick look outside downtown Pittsburgh. Looking good from our camera here at 4th and Broadway, and I want to emphasize that because we're into a patchy fog situation where Pittsburgh officially, the reporting station, is reporting just under 2 miles of visibility, but as you can see from the downtown perspective, things look just fine. Over to the MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline in Joplin. It's looking back roughly to the northwest. Things looking good. Sun's beginning to rise, and skies are going to be mostly clear today. Here's a look at the fog tracker. So in between Parsons and Independence, stretching down toward Nowata, you can see that we do have some very dense fog into the western portions of Labette County, extreme eastern Montgomery County, a good portion of northeast Oklahoma as well. Reduced visibilities, of course, including around the Grand Lake area, does stretch into McDonald County. Reduced visibility slightly so on the Missouri side, but some of the biggest or the densest fog we've got is off on the Kansas and Oklahoma side this morning. The future track, there is nothing on it, and that is simply because there is nothing to show you. We got a calm wind or at most a light and variable breeze today and just a few passing clouds. Otherwise, a very nice day, just a very hot day compared to where we've been here lately. We are sitting at 67 in Joplin, 65 in Pittsburgh, and across the region, temperatures pretty mild but decent, mid to upper 60s, and we've still got 70 down in Bentonville right now as the warm spot this morning. Highs today eventually into the upper 80s, some low 90s not out of the question. Skies will become clear late this evening, and again, calm winds or at most a light and variable breeze. The heat really cranks up into the weekend. In fact, it starts to get to slightly dangerous levels. We'll go over those details with you here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, Chris, thanks. And don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. You can get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. The Southwest Missouri Law Enforcement Agency will soon join a television documentary series. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office will appear on the series On Patrol Live on the Reels channel. The department will make its first appearance on the show this Friday night. That's tomorrow, live from 9 p.m. to midnight, then again on Saturday night at the same time. The show provides minute-by-minute live analysis as the show documents the everyday work of law enforcement officers on patrol from diverse departments across America. In reference to joining the show, Sheriff Robert Evanson said in part, McDonald County is a great community that backs their law enforcement. Showing what our officers go through will also illustrate to the public how much officers truly care about them and the country, including visitors who know they can come here and have a safe and fun time. The McDonald County Sheriff's Office handles approximately 15,000 calls a year. Well, the basketball courts at Lamar City Park now bear the name of a man who quietly helped bring them to life. Community members gathered for a dedication ceremony to honor Kenny Howard, a local businessman who in the 1970s silently donated the funds to build the courts. In addition to his contribution, Howard was known for his strong support of Lamar High School basketball.
I used to take the kids to Kansas City to the NAIA tournament in my motorhome. and that was a big deal every year, and so that was fun.
The event celebrates Howard's lasting impact on local sports and the youth who benefited from his generosity. A convicted killer and rapist who escaped from a medium security prison in Arkansas is back in custody and appeared before a judge on Tuesday. Grant Harden pleaded not guilty to breaking out of a detention facility in Calico Rock in the north central part of the state. He made his court appearance via Zoom, and authorities say Harden escaped by dressing up as a law enforcement officer last month. He was recaptured 12 days after he broke free. Harden was recently transferred to a Supermax prison in Gold, Arkansas. He's expected to go on trial on the escape charge in November. Repairs to a hangar damaged by a plane crash in Gardner, Kansas continue. At least 2 people were hurt after a plane crashed through the roof on an airport hangar near Kansas City, Missouri. This happened earlier this week at the New Century Airport in Gardner, Kansas. Photos from the scene showed the plane partially through the roof. Investigators say a left engine malfunction led to the crash, and authorities said the 2 people on board, the pilot and 1 passenger, were taken to an area hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. No one inside the hangar at the time of the crash was hurt. And those are our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Gas prices are looking to surge due to conflict in the Middle East. We'll take a look. And the Lakers see a change in ownership as the Buss family sells controlling interest in the popular NBA team. We'll have the latest. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. In Consumer Watch, it's the end of an era for the Buss family and the Los Angeles Lakers. After 4 decades, they've agreed to sell controlling interest of the historic NBA team to businessman Mark Walter for $10 billion, making the Lakers the world's most valuable sports franchise. Walter is also the majority owner of baseball's LA Dodgers. Well, Astro AI has recalled nearly 250,000 mini fridges because they can short circuit and catch fire. The Consumer Product Safety Commission says there are at least 70 reports of fridges smoking, melting, or catching fire. 2 fires have caused damage totaling more than $360,000. Owners of the recalled product should stop using them immediately and can contact Astro AI for a free replacement. And today is Juneteenth, and if you're looking for a place to mark the national holiday commemorating the end of slavery in the U.S., why not visit a national park? Now, the National Park Service says it's waiving entrance fees today for all parks. And it's going to cost you more to fill up your tank as gas prices are going up because of conflict in the Middle East. But it's not just regular gas prices that are rising. The price of diesel is expected to soar, and that means it will cost companies more to fill up trucks that are transporting goods like groceries. In Consumer Watch, Jen Sullivan explains why Americans' wallets could be hit hard this summer.
As the conflict between Israel and Iran escalates, the price of oil is rising, and it means Americans are paying more for gas.
Oil prices last Friday jumped 8%.
Patrick DeHaan with Gas Buddy says anytime there's a conflict in the Middle East, it creates uncertainty and disrupts global energy markets.
The knee-jerk reaction for the market is oil prices jump.
DeHaan says the national average for a gallon of regular gas could go up between 10 to 25 cents over the next few weeks. As of Wednesday, the national average for a regular gallon of gas was $3.19. That's up 7 cents from last week, according to AAA. Prices could go up even more if Iran retaliates by targeting the Strait of Hormuz. It's a critical waterway separating the Persian Gulf from global oceans. Roughly 21 million barrels of oil are transported through the Strait of Hormuz every day.
That is about 20% of what's consumed globally. So a blockade or military activity in the Strait of Hormuz could be extremely problematic for the price of oil.
Here's another concern. DeHaan says the price of diesel could increase as much as 40 cents over the next 2 weeks. And when diesel prices rise, experts say consumers could see prices across the board go up because it costs companies more to transport goods.
If this situation continues to spiral out of control, you could see businesses that rely on things like crude oil, diesel, jet fuel, and gasoline start to incur a much more increased cost, and that could eventually filter down to motorists.
The good news is DeHaan does not think gas prices will rise as much as they did last summer. For Consumer Watch, I'm Jen Sullivan.
And that's a look at our top consumer stories for this morning. Let's head over now to Chris for a quick look at the forecast.
Yeah, got a beautiful start to the day out there. Great look at that sunrise from downtown Pittsburgh. We do have some patchy, dense fog across the region, and outside of that, it's really going to start to heat up. We'll have another look at your forecast, talk about the heat, and of course, first day of summer when we come back.
The #1 fast food restaurant chain in terms of customer satisfaction. We have the answer in today's Ag Day Minute.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. The U.S. is taking new steps to keep a deadly parasite out of the country. USDA announcing a new plan to protect the U.S. livestock industry against a fly called New World screwworm. It was detected earlier this year in Mexico, about 700 miles from the border. Among the plans announced today, a major investment to renovate an existing sterile fly facility in southern Mexico and another at a currently inactive U.S. Air Force base in southern Texas, and continued enforcement of stopping live cattle imports at the southern border. Now, the U.S. eradicated screwworm from the country back in the 1960s. Kraft Heinz says it will be pulling artificial dyes from its U.S. products starting in 2027, and it says it will no longer roll out new products with the dyes. The move comes nearly 2 months after U.S. health officials said that they would urge food makers to phase out petroleum-based artificial colors in the nation's food supply. Kraft Heinz said Tuesday that almost 90% of its U.S. products already don't contain food, drug, and cosmetic colors. A new study looked at customer satisfaction when it comes to fast food restaurants, and Chick-fil-A topped the list for an 11th straight year. Panda Express and Starbucks tied for second. When it comes to sit-down restaurants, Texas Roadhouse came in first, followed by Longhorn Steakhouse. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or get updates over at agweb.com.
Let's head over to Chris for a full look at your forecast.
And we're going to start with the fog tracker this morning because, again, we do have some patchy, dense fog out there. Grove now down to 0 visibility. Of course, surrounding the Grand Lake area, and that does stretch into parts of McDonald County. Benton County, some reduced visibilities as well. And then we get into parts of Labette, Montgomery, Craig, and the Wada counties. We've got reduced visibilities as well. Parsons now down to 2 miles. So, again, keep this in mind. You folks at home, you know the drill. Low beams, not your high beams. Fog lights if you've got them. And, of course, slow down. Give yourself time to get where you're going. And in these kinds of situations too, with the patchy fog, you've really got to be paying attention because we've discussed before as well. You could be driving along, you go 3-4 miles, things are fine, and all of a sudden your visibility drops. So just be prepared for that. On to the temperatures, because in terms of weather, we have a few clouds today. Outside of that, we're looking at clear skies into the weekend. We are just simply looking at temperatures heating up. So here we are at noon today. All of us just about into the low 80s. We go into the afternoon. Of course, that's when we're going to start hitting our peak heating. Upper 80s is where we're going. A couple of 90-degree readings, not out of the question. But then we're going to see a lot more of those 90-degree readings as we head into our Friday, Saturday, and Sunday as well. So upper 60s, some low 70s as we start our Friday. Clear skies again continue. Get a bit breezy tomorrow. And that south wind, though, is what's going to help bring in all that warm, humid air. That's going to start to make it feel a little more uncomfortable by noon tomorrow. So today, by noon, low 80s. By noon tomorrow, already into the mid to upper 80s. So we're going to see a lot more low 90-degree readings. Again, an upper 80 here or there will be possible. Most of us, though, soaring into the low 90s. And those trends will continue as we head into the upcoming weekend as well. I mean, look at where we are, 5 o'clock Saturday morning. We could be in the mid to upper 70s already. We'll hit lows early and then start turning around, warming right back up Eventually, yeah, low 80s by noon. That seems okay, right? Well, the problem is on Saturday, there's going to be even more humidity. Dew point levels are going to be a bit higher. It's going to cause our heat index values to go much higher as well as we head into our Saturday. We go into Sunday, not that dissimilar in terms of what we're expecting for those highs again. Mid 70s by noon, but we're still going to climb into the mid to upper 80s and some low 90s, of course, out there as well. So in terms of our heat risk, here's what we've got. Just minor for today. It's going to feel hot. It's going to feel a little uncomfortable, but the heat risk overall is minor. But then we go into Friday, starts to increase. Now we've got a moderate heat risk across most of the area. Of course, tomorrow, first official day of summer, longest day of the year, and especially as it heats up, it's really going to feel like the longest day of the year, especially if you have to work outside. Now, by Saturday, we're kind of reaching a peak here. A lot of the area in a major heat risk. That's because, again, tomorrow heat index values 100 to 105, but by Saturday, we get to a point where those heat index values are going to be more of us, rather, at 105. So we're getting to this point here. Heat-related illness is possible. If we get a little above that, heat exhaustion becomes a problem. Heat stroke could become a problem as well. So just make sure you're taking precautions and being safe, being smart outside. All right, few clouds out there through the morning. Low 70s to start, 81 by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, eventually making into the upper 80s, some low 90s. Winds will be calm, and as we head into the evening hours, clear skies will continue back down to the mid 70s by 10, low 70s overnight, and as I mentioned, some upper 60s, south winds 5 to 10. Then we get into Friday, again, winds pick up out of the south, gusting to 25. Here come those low 90s, the clear skies through the weekend. Next week, as we get into that time of year where the humidity builds, dew point levels build, we're looking at those pop-up storm chances. So heating of the day, so late afternoon, early evening. So as always, remember, if you get caught under one of those, make sure you got a safe place to go. Of course, when thunder roars, head indoors. Let's check your forecast. We're going to toss it over to Elise now with a check of sports.
All right, Chris, thanks. Well, the Joplin Outlaws have beaten the Sherman Shadow Cats in each of their last 2 games. And last night, those 2 teams face each other twice more. It's a doubleheader down in Sherman, Texas, and the Outlaws leave with a pair of wins. Outlaws win the first game thanks to a great pitching performance from Lucas Vandeloot. Final score 7-3. Then the Outlaws shut out the Shadow Cats with a final score of 5-0. The Outlaws now head to White Oak, Texas to take on the Timberhogs. Love at the College World Series. Arkansas baseball has won elimination games each of the past 2 days, and they hope to do the same once again last night. But unfortunately, this is where the Hogs' season comes to an end. This was a back-and-forth game all night. The Razorbacks scored 2 wins in the top of the 9th to take a 5-3 lead. But LSU responds back with a 3-run bottom of the 9th to walk it off. The Tigers will face Coastal Carolina in the national championship. Well, in our Major League Baseball Diamond Deep Dive, the Royals and Cardinals both won Tuesday night, and maybe that's a sign that their recent struggles are coming to an end. The Redbirds had lost 7 of their last 8 games before cruising to a 12-2 victory over the White Sox Tuesday night. Now, these two were supposed to face each other last night, but it's postponed due to rain chances in the Chicago area. They'll play a doubleheader this afternoon. And the Royals are down in Arlington, Texas. They won Tuesday night as well, and they do so again. Final score 6-3. Michael Garcia has 4 RBI, 3 of which came on a home run, and Chris Bubick gets the win on the mound after striking out 6 over 5 1/3 inning pitched. And that's a look at sports. We'll be right back. Well, Wacky Wednesdays are back. The Crawford County Historical Museum brings back its popular summer tradition where kids can enjoy 4 Wednesdays of hands-on fun, laughter, and learning with the brand new theme every week. Yesterday, kids could interact with a camel, baby goats, and more thanks to Kramer's Petting Zoo from Arcadia. Now, yesterday's theme was Barnyard Bonanza. Next Wednesday, the theme will be Life on the Trail.
Certainly looks like a lot of fun, and we're going to start heating up. Tomorrow, of course, the first day of summer. Heat is on starting tomorrow into the weekend. It's going to be pretty toasty today as well, so I just want to remind you, make sure you're staying hydrated. If you got to be outside, maybe you can finally mow the yard and get a break from the rain. You want to make sure that you're taking appropriate precautions as things start to heat up out there. Just a few clouds for us are the first portion of our Thursday. About 70 to start. They're around 81 by 11 o'clock this morning. We head into the afternoon. Temperatures heating up today, but our heat index value is expected to be a little bit lower. They're going to be up there. We're talking low 90s maybe, but not as hot as it's going to get Friday into Saturday. And we'll have our temperatures upper 80s and some low 80s. Winds will be calm or otherwise light and variable. As we head into the evening hours, skies should clear out. We shouldn't have any clouds left out there. Down to the mid 70s by 10. Overnight lows back into the low 70s and some upper 60s. And the wind starts to pick up just a bit out of the south at around 5 to 10 miles an hour. We go down the week. Tomorrow, it's going to be breezy, but it's going to be one of those you just made pizza in the oven kind of breezes. You open the oven, that wind comes out, and the heat comes out. That's how it's going to be. South winds gusting at 25, bringing in warm, muggy air. So low 90s for highs. Heat index values 100 to 105. More of us seeing heat index values at about 105, maybe a little higher by Saturday. That's why you got to be smart out here and be safe. Clear skies through Sunday, and of course with the heat and humidity, we get to that point, those late afternoon, early evening pop-up storms. Now, while widespread severe weather is not expected, some of those can get a little strong, so just make sure you're keeping an eye out there. And of course, when thunder roars, head indoors. Let's check your forecast. Got another hour of the KOM Morning News right after this.